what was the reason that you didn't, you said when you were in the Marines you didn't lift as much, now you do. Why weren't you lifting as much when you were in the Marines?
I just wasn't super into it at the time. You know, it's just something that kind of grabbed me. Actually, I really started lifting when I was in the Marines, when we got deployed to war, because it was so boring. There's nothing else to do. So we were actually lifting like sandbags, and you know, somehow somebody got a set of barbells out there. And that's sort of when it started. Yeah, I'm sure you've seen the movies like Full Metal Jacket or Jarhead or something. So it's just like Jarhead, like almost exactly like that. It's pretty boring. You live in a tent in the sand, and you spend most of your time just trying to think of things to do. Some of those things might include capturing camel spiders and scorpions and sticking them in ammo cans and letting them, you know, have at it, and spoils to the victor.
Why is there so much time not doing anything where you're trying to entertain yourselves?
Well, I mean, that's sort of the nature of war. Most of the time, it's nothing. You know, if you're infantry, obviously you see a lot of combat action, but in between, even in between your you know, engagements, it's a lot of kind of sitting around and waiting. I think the military's second motto is hurry up and wait, right? So, yeah, when you're deployed overseas, it's just a lot of waiting for things to happen. I mean, you have a job to do, but, you know, a lot of it is just waiting for things to happen. And that's true if you're infantry too. You just sit behind a gun waiting for something to happen.
Tell me about the best day you ever had over there.
The best day? It's sort of a blur of just sand and windstorms. I have a good story, I suppose, but I don't know if I'd consider it a good day, if I can diverge from the question. So here in Phoenix we have haboobs, and they're these big sandstorms that just pummel the valley with a lot of dust and heavy winds, and you've seen pictures of them maybe on the internet. There's this big like wall of dirt. So imagine that times 50 in the southern Iraqi desert, and that's what we endured. Only instead of houses, we all lived in tents in a bivouac. We had little two-person tents. And so one time when a sandstorm started, we all took shelter in our tents, but the winds were so strong and the sand's so heavy that, like, at least for my part, I was propping up my tent with my feet to keep it from falling on me by the weight of the sand and the strength of the wind. And then when it was over, and of course, if you go outside, like, it's just blinding, and you can't even go outside. You open your eyes and you get pelted with sand. But when it was over, when we all come out of the bivouac, out of our tents rather, the entire area is like leveled. If you can imagine what like Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark, he's describing them, you know, God covering up an entire city to hide the ark with the sandstorm. It was kind of like that. Everything was just blanketed with sand. We were all just kind of crawling out of it.